That being said, I'm gonna bring us in, and we are live. Sound
Sound Minds
SoundMinds.
season
Yeah.
finale. This is the third season finale, and we want to thank all of y'all for rocking with us, man. Truth of the matter is, we do this for y'all, man. When we come up with the dope, already we got some comments. Damn it, man.
Lucy.
Yeah,
season
Lucy.
What up,
finale.
son?
Sound mind.
We
um,
did it.
so, so for the most part, want to shout out one of the honestly speaking, man, introduction needs to be done properly for this gentleman right here, man. This is to me one of the best MCs, and we're gonna talk about a lot of things, man. But one of the illest MCs that there are some dope people, and then there are those who I have yet to ever hear a worse verse from this dude, man. Like this brother right here, every time his pen is on paper or whenever he's on the track, you hear fire. It's straight heat. You know what I'm saying? So one of the illest MCs that I've known from back in the 90s, just hearing him out, man, and it is a pleasure by all means to have this type of greatness in our season finale, season 3 of the SoundMind podcast. So shout out to him. And by all means, man, without further ado, Shabam Sadiq. Round of applause, man.
Round of applause. Sound mind.
Salute. Yeah.
My brother, man. So thank you for being on, man. Thank you for being with us, man. And thank you for sharing your time, especially around these times. It's the holiday season. A lot of people traveling, a lot of things going on, a lot of family and domestic, gatherings. But you here with us, brother, with a dope shirt, might I add, Knick colors. You know what I'm saying? I'm a diehard Knicks fan. You know what I mean? But a dope shirt, man.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
This right here is from a clothing line called
Right.
RVL.
There we
And
go.
you can't talk about that.
There we go.
This is
Clothing
what
line.
I mean, ethics. I got the hat, but I don't have the hat upstairs with me. I should have went and got it.
We got the hat on the flyer. The hat fly, sleek and ready to match. We had to put that on the flyer. But so ethics is just one of the seasonal products, but that's not the name of the whole brand, right?
No, the name of the brand is Marviel, and
Okay.
each line I'm gonna do like a different slogan. Like the black hoodies were called Impeccable. You know what I mean? These blue and orange joints is called Ethics. And then, each line I'm gonna pick a word, you know what I'm saying, that I'm gonna run with for that particular drop. You know what I mean? And most of the words are like, something empowering.
Right. Right. I like that.
Something that we live by, ethics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you'll see people rocking brand names and they don't understand where this name came from. You know what I mean? It might be another culture, it might be someone's just company that's supporting. And it gets to the point where it's like, what are you saying when you rocking that person's brand name? You know what I'm saying? So now you supporting the actual brother that's out here doing something positive. But even if you didn't know who it was, you're radiating words in the unconscious mind.
And that was the reason why I picked these two words to start with, because even if you don't know who I am as an artist or whatever, ethics is something that you could stand by. You know what I mean? Your code of ethics. You dig what I'm saying? Same thing with the word impeccable. Impeccable, impeccable style, impeccable taste. You dig what I'm saying? Those are words that even if you don't know who I am as an artist, you could wear that on your chest or on your sleeve and be like, yeah, my style is impeccable, or I got a code.
For those who don't know, I will say like this is relevant because he is an impeccable artist, meaning a lyrical artist, meaning he uses the words. And one thing I always thought about is the geniusness of hip hop culture, embodying things like graffiti, b-boying, different elements, fashion being one of them. And I always wondered how these was all counteracting the oppression that we had in the hood, because every element in hip hop is counteracting oppression and empowering people. And it's like, guess what? When the show's over, especially before the streaming, when the show's over, it don't matter how dope my message is in my voice, you're not hearing it. But if I got that lyric on a shirt, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah, you gonna see it over and over. Yeah. Yeah. And
And
plus,
that's
you
what the
know,
graffiti artists did, really. That's what the basic graffiti. When you was all city, whatever you put on that train, regardless of your talking mouth, you was sending a message. And now I guess we doing that with fashion to a sense, right?
yeah, definitely, man. And it also, you know, it's vocabulary. It's like, you know, certain words, you need to know those. And then after you see it a couple times, you're like, okay, if you never knew what ethics was, when you Google it, bam, there it is. If you never knew what impeccable was, Google it and there it is, man. It adds to your vocabulary.
And you know
You
what's
know?
crazy? I think
Remember
that
the scene? Remember the scene in the wood where like that nigga got knowledge. That nigga got knowledge.
you know,
Exactly.
and I think that's what it stands so true to form, though. You know what I'm saying? You being the wordsmith that you are, man, it definitely shows. Whenever your pen hit, you know what I'm saying? It's just like when you hear a Shaban verse, like now I'm gonna hear something. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's fire that here it is, you putting out a clothing line that kind of in a sense is a perfect statement for who you are as a person. Ethics. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't stand on ethics. A lot of people don't have that morale. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can't sit there and say, yeah, my joint is impeccable, or, because they don't understand the wisdom behind a lot of words. So what they do is they try to simplify themselves just to be accepted. You know what I mean? Where here you are, you're uplifting, as even in the verses, man. A lot of times when you say in your verse, like, nah, yeah, and that's another thing I want to get into too, man, is just the fact that over the years, there have been so many styles. There have been so many themes. You know what I mean? Like there have been eras in which MCs go through different themes and doing the exact same thing. Whereas Shabam has always been Shabam. I never heard you constantly, countless times you just speaking about drugs and guns and robbing people when you always been about the sword. You know what I mean? About the penmanship and the wordsmith of what it is to be an MC. So if you can, man, could you talk about why you are who you are and why it stands out and why people need to respect it for what it is?
Oh, and to add to that, when did it start for us youngins that don't know? When did it start?
Uh, Basically, it started, you know, like around 87, 88. You know what I mean? I always had an interest in hip hop, but and the elements, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm an artist too, as you can see in my room. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? I
yeah,
do a lot of
we definitely
painting.
gonna get into that.
So, you know, all the elements, man. Of course, you know, it started out with DJing. Like, you know, we used to go to my boy's basement and they used to be in there getting busy and we'd be listening to, you know, random records, man, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and, you know what I'm saying, a lot of old school shit that really got me hyped and wanted to participate in hip hop. And then definitely the trains and the graffiti, you know what I mean, that you brought up. I used to see as a kid and be like, oh, I'd be amazed. But, you know, as far as music, you know, I started making demos and stuff like around 88. You know what I mean? Working on a lot of music with different producers, sampling, getting little samplers and 4 tracks and working on music. And my whole aim as a hip hop artist was to be, you know, versatile, man. I could talk about the drugs and guns, but then I could talk about, you know what I'm saying, what happens when you indulge in that stuff too much. You know what I mean? I could talk about love. I could talk about family. You know what I mean? I could just, you know, expand on different vocabulary. I could do many different things, man. And that was my aim since day one. You know?
That's something that I actually get from listening to your music is the versatility, but it's like a it's like a balance between the consciousness and the street. And
Yeah,
and and
definitely.
I wanted to ask you based off of me having that thought of saying where do he fit? Like, are you a conscious artist or are you just a high intelligence street lyricist? Like which, like I don't.
Um,
Maybe it's the same thing. To be honest with you.
yeah, it is kind of. It's kind of in the same vein, man. When I first okay, I'm gonna take it here. When I first heard Intelligent Hoodlum, I felt like I fit in that bracket right there. That's
I was
you
just
know,
thinking that.
Tragedy was one of my favorite artists as a youngin. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I fit in right there. Like I'm intelligent, but I'm still running the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm conscious, but I still got that hood element. You know what I mean? So I would say conscious street.
Yeah.
If that's even a,
There you go. There you go.
I don't want to be thrown in boxes, but yeah, conscious street. You know what I mean? Definitely. That would be the category.
That's it's so heavy how a lot of these categories come from people trying to sell products, and then you find out they actually trying to sell us, and then you find out actually it's not them trying to start to sell us. You realize, oh, that's why black people was brought to this country. They were selling us. So you start realizing unconsciously, we always fall back into these things, you know what I mean? And it's positive tools. Like branding is positive, marketing is positive when you get it, like you doing, creating your own positive messages. But you got to understand, branding originally comes from that stamp you put on cattle, and they put stamps
definitely.
on people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where it's almost like I feel like hip hop. I feel personally that's why
I feel like the music industry is a metaphor for slavery. If you're not doing your own shit, definitely, you know what I mean? Because when you branding yourself for yourself, is different.
That's one of the keys of your longevity, in my perspective, because you have to understand that intelligent hoodlum, that street conscious. You got to both know its intelligence and how to use brands and everything, but you also have to have an undying anger at how these things were used and developed to enslave your own people. You can't just have one or the other. You know what I mean? Because one side of the other is going.
You gotta have it all, especially when you dealing with street stuff. Because you know what I mean. A lot of people will make it seem like it's not cool to be intelligent, but you got to be intelligent even to survive on the street. You got to use some brain power. Or you end up in jail and dead or just caught up in a whole lot of shit. So some things you learn as you go, and you still end up in jail, but certain things you are able to slip out of, and you are able to evolve and become, the iller person that you knew you was at the beginning.
Right. And then it's also about elevation too. You know what I'm saying? Like in the sense, funny enough, I went to visit my aunt in the Lower East Side. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm originally from. Just moved up 2 years ago. Just taking that trip down there. I ain't gonna lie to you, like the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Like it only been 2 years, but to me, I'm like, damn, I miss home. You know what I'm saying? The elevators. I miss the smell of certain things. You know what I'm saying? Now when you become a house owner, you out other wares, it's just kind of like, damn, this ain't it. I love it. I love where I'm at. It's a peace of mind, but it's still the same. But the fact that to elevate and going back to kind of a conversation that we just had, and I also got to shout you out, brother, because truth of the matter is, to me, again, man, not because you on here, you're one of the dopest MCs I know. You know what I'm saying? Like I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? And there's very few that like I said, never spit a worse verse in their life to me. You know what I'm saying? But then here it is. You moved up, went to ATL, started your own business. You know what I mean? Opened up your own barbershop. Shout out to Blade Kings. You just had the 2-year anniversary. So to see that entrepreneurial, that spirit, man, and to take it from, I'm from out here in the city, but damn, it's time to elevate now. Could you speak on that mentality and what it takes to get there?
Well, like I said, years of working in other people's barbershops. You know what I'm saying? First off, I like to say when I came home from prison, you know what I mean? I tried different things. I tried hotel and restaurant management school. You know what I'm saying? I had an intern at a big hotel. And then, when it was finally time to get hired, you know what I'm saying, my record came up. So, I had to fall back on things that I learned, you know what I mean, that I didn't necessarily have to get a background check to get a job. And that was barbering. That was one of the things that piqued my interest when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? So, once things fell through with the school and everything, I was like, I'm gonna do the barbering. And it worked out for me, you know what I mean?
You had already had some experience in that at that point?
Shaping people up and, trying to do it, shaping myself up. But I really got interested in it when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? And
I want you to finish, but I just want to stop right there because is it just me or is barbering the fact that that was already there? Wasn't barbering like before Spotify and Instagram and maybe still, you know what I mean? Isn't barbering like part of how hip hop has developed? Like the mixtapes, people coming by
oh
having
yeah,
mixtapes.
for
Like,
sure.
what's up
Because
with
the
what's that
barbershop,
connection?
the
Talk about that.
barbershop, the barbershop is like the center of the hood, man. That's where everybody gonna come and debate about hip hop. That's where everybody gonna come and, you know what I mean, talk about the new music, the new styles. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like fashion is like the fifth element of hip hop, solidly. You know what I mean? So that includes barbering and how you look, what you put on. You know what I mean? That's the silent element, and the barbershop play a big part in that. Politics is talked about in the barbershop, religion, music. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, you know what I mean? That's the center of the neighborhood. If you trying to find something or find somebody, most likely, if you go to the barbershop, you're gonna find that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was one of the things that saved me. You know what I mean? Especially coming home from prison. You know what I mean? I had that skill. I started out taking a barber course in prison, but I kept going to keep lock and kept going in the box, so it kind of interrupted it. So, when that hotel and restaurant thing fell through, I went to barber school. You know what I mean? And here we are now.
How long did you sit down, my brother?
I sat down for 3.5 years.
3.5, bet. Okay. From Googling, just to Google you as a youngster, you know what I'm saying? Look, you talking about you started, really putting that pen to the pad in 87, 88.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an 87 baby. Like, hold up.
So you already
so,
know. You already know.
so
I'm an OG.
So you an OG with it. You know what I mean? So then I go back and I look it up. Like I look you up and it says on Google, like, you started your, the professional career years active in 1996, right?
Yeah,
And
like
that's when
10
you
years later.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, so you did all the independent route first and built up until now you got on the real scene. And then looking into the music, like I went back to what 96 or 99 where it was a mixtape that that was out with Eminem on it. And this is before the Slim Shady track, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even on that mixtape, when you dropping mixtape, I'm listening to
You talking about like Eddie Ill and DL
yeah,
or
I think
like
so.
Man,
If I'm not mistaken,
all of those were like around the same time, man.
no, the
Echo
Ruckus
Unlimited,
presents
Lyricist Lounge,
sound bombing.
Sound Bombing. Yeah, yo, it's
yeah.
funny
Sound
hearing.
bombing, the sound
Yo,
bombing joint.
Sound
for
bombing,
us,
like
these is like sacred grails. So for you, since Ron's the youngest, it's funny hearing him be like sound booming, we like
look,
you know that's your sound
you know
bombing,
what I'm
my
saying?
G.
Like, yo, look, but when I look it up and then I listen to him, like he literally fits right in the same category of all the other greats, lyrical greats that's out there. Like he sounds exactly the same. He has that sound, that street consciousness to it, and it's like it fits right
Always
into
had
the
a unique
greats.
voice. The band got one of the most unique voices.
You know what I mean? For me not to know, but still to listen and say, bro, this ain't no. Where you been all my life, in a sense? Like it's like he's already been doing it still till
Wait,
this
so
time,
we talk
all
about
the way
that
up
for a
until
second.
now.
I mean,
So let's talk about that for a
So I want
second.
to talk about from that 96
Like
time.
being around all of them classic people and having all these opportunities in the industry and still maintaining underground. Please,
Yeah,
let us in on that.
yeah, that's what I wanted to get to. Yeah.
well, I mean, my second single ever, you know what I mean, had Eminem on the B side before he was, you know what I mean, who he is now.
That's
You dig what I'm
crazy.
You
saying?
see what I'm saying?
People ain't listening.
And
People
that
ain't
was on
listening.
Sound Bombing, you know what I mean? But I had songs with a lot of people, man, with Buster, with Talib, with Red, with Meth, Pharoah Monch. I'm on Pharoah Monch remix. Simon Says, I'm on a few joints. I think I think my little prison stint kind of, you know what I mean, curved some success for me, but you know what I'm saying, I'm still here and I'm still doing it. You know what I mean?
You had a
I got.
project with Mr. Complex in them too, right?
Oh, no question. I had like 2 albums with
Right.
Polyrhythmatics, which is a group that consisted of me, Mr. Complex, DJ Spinner, Apani B Fly, Ty Phoenix. You dig what I'm saying?
Amazing.
And then I
Those
also
albums were on Nervous Records, the same label that had Black Moon and Smith and Wesson, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. Yeah.
And that, which is dope too, because at the same time, shout out to my brother Jay Smith, man. Lyricist Lounge
Yeah, I
too.
was
You know
on
what I mean? Like
Lyricist
you talking
Lounge
about,
too. That was like a lot of that was a part
yeah,
of my
man.
hip hop upbringing, because I used to go to Lyricist Lounge and just hang around all night until I got on the mic. That goes back, you know, me and PH and Poison Pen and you know the whole team,
Mm-hmm.
lifelong, and all my brethren from back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Rest in
Shout
peace,
out
C-Rays.
to
PA.
Stronghold.
Yeah, you know, all
Shout
the
out to
people that was out
Stronghold.
there hanging out,
Yeah,
trying to get
yeah.
on that mic back in the days.
So I gotta ask you a question about that though, Bam, because it's just kind of like, so you talking about honestly speaking. So around that time too, man, and it's funny. Um, Around that time, there were different styles, different people doing different things. And I gotta be honest with you. Um, I also feel like hip hop around somewhere around the 97, 98 kind of took a drop because of the commercialism of it, started getting at a heightened state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Lyricist Lounge, Sound Bombing, you are talking about, you know, Pumpkinhead, Immortal Technique, Poison, Lifelong, Breeze. Yo, when you talk about that time, right? Shout out to Stronghold. Word up. Shout out to Stronghold, man. The Plague. Um, you're talking about real lyricists, man, and Raucous, Lyricist Lounge, Sound Bombing. That was kind of like a straight haven. It was like a heaven for MCs because you had everything else going on. Even with Boot Camp, Boot Camp had their own style and everything that was going on, but there was lyricism that was going on. I gotta ask you, brother, do you feel that hip hop will ever get back to that? Because to me, that was the years of glory. That's when you had real MCs having the ciphers. You know what I mean? Because you don't have ciphers no more. Now you got mumbling, and there's been so much ciphering you could do while you mumble. You know what I mean? So do you feel like hip hop will ever go back to that?
Nah, I feel like right now there's a lot of MCs out there that's carrying the torch, man. I mean, you know, the underground is thriving right now. You know, you got West Side Gun and them doing their thing. You got the Fleet Lords. You got you know, a lot of new artists that's coming up still doing their thing, man. And I feel like they still carrying the torch. They still doing their thing, man. The Husk Kingpins and you know what I'm saying. You know, all the upstate New York cats that's coming through doing their thing. I feel like the underground is still thriving. You just got to know where to go find the dope shit and listen to it and support it. You know what I mean? Instead of complaining about, you know, the random commercial shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's pretty much there's a lot of artists out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing. You know, Napoleon the Legend. You know what I'm saying? Bangkok fan. I mean, you know, I could run a whole list
God
of
Fahim.
dope new
It's a
artists,
lot
man.
of them.
Ransom,
So God.
Shay Noir.
But I guess that's how it always was. It's just like when you knew you had to look for it, when that's what the culture was, when you had to be outside New Eurekan and Pyramid and so on and so forth, and had to be hungry, you didn't really think of all the other stuff that was happening because people that wasn't really, you know, gonna go through the trenches to get to a show and spit and be outside the club in a cipher with people trying to take your head off till 2 a.m. You didn't know. So it's not necessarily, I guess what you're saying, it's not necessarily that went away. It's just there's so many other things that's now called hip hop that kind of distracts them, right?
Yeah, it do because certain things, you know what I'm saying, I just, you know, I take it for what it is and I keep it moving. But I know what I consider boom bap hip hop. You dig what I'm saying? And there's a lot of new artists that are holding the torch for that. Of course, there's not as much, live shows and ciphering because of the age that we're in and what's going on with pandemics and all that shit. But the artist is still there. There's still a lot of new dope artists emerging.
You forcing my hand now, so you forcing me to tell my first Shabam Sadiq memory. Just to put this in perspective, what we talking about, like for people who don't know, right? So, like, imagine instead of telling people I got 1 million plays on my YouTube, you didn't have that, so you needed another reason for people to check for you, right? Now I'm up in the club. I don't know if it was Downhill. It was like around the 23rd Street area. I remember that, and we was out there one night.
Wow.
Was it Downhill? It was so many venues, like wherever it was, we would go. You know what I mean? That was the mindset, right? So we was somewhere, Lions Den, Spiral Lounge at one point.
Wetlands.
Oh my God! Don't you dare bring back, yo,
Wetlands was the shit.
Rest in peace, Wetlands. Poison Pen actually did his own battle there. Oh, by the way, for people that look at Poison Pen and Smack and King of the Dot and all these things where you see him, people don't realize Poison Pen was one of the first people to bring battles to a venue, and he did that at Wetlands. I think it might have been Diddy or somebody sponsoring, but it was the Hook Battle Showcase. So shout out to Penn because he was one of the first people that started bringing battles like that. Shout out to my brother Yesh too, Bragging Rights. If you recall, crazy.
Bragging Rights was the shit.
That's what I want to say. I love about just underground hip hop. You know what I mean, where you have these places that you go. You only know about the spot if you've been to the spot. If you go, you know what I'm saying. You like you said, you only know about the underground is if you underground. That's the only way to know. You know what I'm saying. And
right. Okay, so let me tell this story of Shabam. This is what happened. We was out there at one of these spots. It was around 23rd Street, Manhattan. Like I said, you just found out something was happening and you went there. So we in a spot. It's packed. It's like a double-decker layer. I think Polyrhythmatics was probably performing. Now, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. People's rapping. There's probably some kind of open mic happening as well. It's always ciphers breaking out. But Polyrhythmatics is performing. Like, they have their record out. They're performing it, right? But because people were so hungry, this is what tends to happen. So, and mind you, I didn't really know Shabam that well. You know what I mean? I knew like Apani. She was rocking with the Anomalies. I knew, you know what I mean, Mr. Complex. I didn't know Shabam. And I never forgot this moment because while they was performing, some dudes was in the crowd like, yeah. And that sound crazy what I'm doing, but anybody who knows that's what people did. Everybody thought they needed to be on the mic at any given time, regardless who's on the flyer.
Motherfuckers trying to get on the mic back.
Yo, this probably happened to you all the time, but this time was the first time I seen you, and I was like, oh well, he's not battling. This isn't a battle, so I guess security will come. I guess this is that. Nah, my G, he was an MC that night. He was like, word, so come up on the stage and handle it. And that's the protocol. For those who don't know, that's the protocol in hip-hop. So I was like, okay, so we know the protocol. So now it's like 2-3 of them, they get on stage. And he's like, go ahead, do your thing, right? They're like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you, blah, blah, blah. And I'll never forget, I quote me directly, bro. I will never forget. He said, and anybody with kids, I'm about to curse, so just public service announcement, right? He said one thing. He said, yo, homie, honestly, I don't know you. But one thing I do know, I fuck up your whole crew. Now, when I say the first floor, the second floor, and the third floor had a club and different DJs, and the whole shit just stopped. And everybody was like, because it was like 3 people trying to get rah-rah on one dude. And he was just there to perform. He wasn't there to battle. And he was like, all right, come on stage. I don't know you.
You know, at those times, man, I kept those battle rhymes ready, like, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
That was that one. When I say nobody heard, and that's how the battles was in the street. Like, somebody would say one thing, and it was over because you couldn't hear anything, like the battle was over. The whole rest of the night, I don't remember what happened. I don't even remember the dancing.
I think I remember. I think I remember that night too.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Dude was in the crowd making mad noise. So I was like, yeah, come up. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And he wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean? I mean, that shit happened at a lot of shows though. You know what I mean?
But isn't that's how, like, to me, remembering to this day, that was the old-fashioned version of like a million views on TikToks. Like, you would go to places regularly knowing you get tested, and when you got tested, you either showed improved or you didn't. And that's how we have a lot of friendship and respect for people, because they was tested. You know what I mean?
Right. They was battle tested, man, in the yards and on the corners.
So here's my question. Is there an equivalent to that now? Because how do you get tested on the internet?
I mean, you still could get tested at live shows, man. I mean, you know, you just gotta bring it. You know, if somebody come at you on the internet, you know, you got a choice whether you're gonna respond or you're not. If you an MC, you're gonna respond. You know, and that's just that. But
that's
you know, you got a choice though. You got a choice whether you're gonna respond or not, or you got a choice of who you're gonna respond to. You know, if you an MC and it's fun to you, you're gonna respond to anybody. You know, so it depends.
And you see people even on, and it's funny because people are very selective. They know who it is that they trying to test the boundaries with. You know what I'm saying? There's others that they throw the little shots and they'll be cute about it. You know what I mean? But then when it get real, it's like, I wasn't even talking about you. And that's the difference back then was there was no cameras, there was no social media. It was just kind of like if you had a camera, you had an actual cameraman. Everybody has a camera now. You know what I mean? So now everybody kind of they try to get their stripes off for trying to be funny rather than showing skills, rather than showing talent. So something like that wasn't like, it was dope to see, but many people, many a times would do that on some, fam, if you really think you're nice, come up on the stage. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no need to just sit here and act out. Let's handle this.
Yeah. And impromptu battles. Now the difference between an impromptu battle and these battles that are going now, you got months to prepare. You might have weeks to prepare for the battle, and you basically doing your studies on who the person is, and you know, and if they're a person like me that put out records and got a history that you could Google, you know, you could come up with some material. But an impromptu battle was like, ooh, like some of that got to come off the top of the head, or you have to be ready with rhymes that, you know, you tailor made just in case somebody stepped to you.
Have him in the chamber.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, because a lot of times, man, a lot of these, and this is, and I mentioned this so many times on this podcast, man. I think, you know, for entertainment purposes, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. You go up, you got the 3 months and, you know, whatever battle was going on. And then you sitting there and you talking about people's mothers and grandmothers and children. And, you know, heard your grandmother had gout. That's why you even came out. And it's just like, oh, but back then it was just like, yo, fam, whatever you got on, you better hope you fresh. That's one. You know what I'm saying? you better hope your hat don't look crazy. Your sneakers ain't shady. Like, because you going to get got at. You know what I mean?
And listen, man, and I gotta admit, like a lot of times I get motherfuckers on impromptu shit, but I got before too, live, like come on stage and you know what I mean. And I done got, you know. It just depends, man, on how you feeling that night and how prepared you are. You know what I mean? Because I remember one time, and I remember one time, Lyric got at me. Sarah Connor. She got me in the battle one time. You know what I'm saying? I invited her on stage. You think what I'm saying? So, you know, you just got to be ready, man. You got to be ready and battle tested, man, because you're not going to be the victor every time.
That's missing right now? Is that the impromptu freestyle, the impromptu battles? Is that an element of hip hop that's missing right now, especially because this COVID situation? But is that something where can we even find that right now, even online? You know, is that something that is need to be brought back, is what I'm saying, because there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of history in that.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the environment. I think some of that impromptu happens on radio stations where, they got different MCs up there to freestyle. It might pop off there. It just depends. Especially
Mm.
since COVID, things kind of been shut down, man. It's all internet based, you know. And the internet is not a bad thing, man. It's like a gift and a curse. Because I remember when it wasn't on internet, and now I see that there is internet. So, you know,
I think that's
now
why
that
our
there,
questions are kind of off because we want to ask like, how do we bring that back? But we know we in this
you
COVID
can't,
situation, and
yeah,
we
you
know it'll
can't.
never be the same. So we
Nah.
try to. The question and the answer is like,
No, the thing is though, what's gonna be interesting is when the COVID thing kind of lifts and people out doing shows again, we're gonna see who was really in the crib practicing and freestyling to themselves and
yep.
you know
Like
sharpening the
like like
material.
Tremaine France just said in the chat, you got to be ready and battle tested. Who in the house right now? Battle testing right now. Who
you
getting
know, I
ready?
I'm working on
Oh,
hella music.
we gonna see some sick people. It remind me of the skit with Jay-Z was talking about J. Cole at the beginning of his career, and he was like, he says somewhere out there's a little kid eating his
Eating
box
his
of Cheerios
cereal.
right now, and he's coming for my spot. And I gotta understand that. So out of all the thousands of people that's slacking and not doing anything, and the coach of hip hop dead and all it takes is like 3 good kids, you know what I mean? That they uncle was something in or played them a song, and they like, oh, what's this? And it's a rap for you. You cannot sleep on these kids out here. Like I'm telling you, we gonna see some things.
Yo, even for the beat makers and people that really like in the
With the
house working on
software
their
they could
craft,
use right
man.
now, too.
Yes, it's mad software. It's a lot of things, man, that I'm catching up on right now. You know what I mean? Because we in a new age, man. We in a new age, so it's kind of like the gift and the curse. It's a whole bunch of people that want to rap. It's a whole bunch of people that can get on the internet, but you're gonna tell who you're gonna be able to tell who really spends time with their shit when it's all said and done. And that's that. Well, I never thought that I'd be here talking with three other people that's in somewhere else from where I'm at on my phone and looking at their face at the same time. This was some Jackson shit a few years ago. You know what I'm saying?
You used to
But
see
it's
this
it's
in
going down.
Right.
cartoons. Like the superheroes would be like, get the superhero on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like
Word.
that's us now, just regular.
Yo,
Like
having that show at my shop was like the closest thing that I could feel like a lyricist lounge. You know what I'm saying?
Could you
In my
talk a
music's
little bit
time.
about that show for people who don't know? Because I was like another positive example of doing things both in a hip hop sense and also in this time of a pandemic where people aren't figuring out ways to connect. Go back to like
Well,
how you came up with
basically,
the idea, how it turned out, everything.
you know what I'm saying? When I was in New York, we had a show, a weekly show called It's Alive. You know what I'm saying? Me, DJ Toshi, Reddy C, and a lot of guest DJs. And it ran for like 6 years, 7 years. And then I moved. So they continued with another form called Rock the House, where they had Delancey every Wednesday for a couple years now. So basically, they started doing live streaming show. And basically, they had a tour for the Baltimore Cats, which is Jay Royale, Ill Conscious, Dirt Platoon. They had a tour going on. It was like, yo, we want to bring the tour to Atlanta. Do you know about any venues? And I
We
was like,
gotta salute
basically,
Ill Conscious. We gotta salute Ill Conscious because that's another example. That's a brother that in this day and time I see him all over the place, and I never saw him like co-signed or from. And he was an example of somebody we just be out doing shows, and you see him rocking, and you just got recognized real and be like, he's finding a way. You know what I mean? He understands the culture. So shout out to you, brother.
yeah.
Definitely check out Ill
So
Conscious.
yeah, Ill Conscious is ill. So basically they called me up and they was like, yo, we want to find some venues because they knew that, we did some A3C shows since I've been down here, and that I had, a connect with some venues. But during COVID, everything is shut down, man. You know what I'm saying? No venues. Well, some venues are open, but you can't have more than 20 people in there at a time. So I was like, you know what? We could do it at my shop. And being it's a live stream, we don't have to worry about the amount of people that's gonna be in there. It's just a live stream. Y'all could come down. I have a private audience, and I got a backyard, front yard. We could just do what we do.
That's
So
fire.
they brought the tour down. So basically, it was the Baltimore dudes, Ill Conscious, you know what I'm saying, Dirt Platoon, J Royale, Guy Grams, and then I decided to add a couple of my people to the show, which is Ella Sensei from the legendary Artifacts, Star, she's from Atlanta, she spit, Indigo Phoenix, John
Star
Jiggs,
crazy. Star's another
John
underrated. Shout out to Star the MC.
John Jiggs, you know what I'm saying, from Long Island. So, that combo, turned out to be a great show, and it was live streamed. And it's on YouTube for people to watch. I feel like that's the future. You know what I'm saying? You could come back and watch the replay if you didn't catch it that night. You know what I mean? And the people who wanted to be there in person were there, and that's that.
So in a
And that's
sense, having the
Right.
barber shop kind of, it wasn't like a pivot away from hip hop and shows. In a sense, it made you more of an owner in the sense of being able to provide the venues for these type of things. If you think about it,
exactly, man. As long as you got the equipment and the gear, you know what I'm saying, you can set up the live stream, you know what I'm saying, plug up the mics, and you can rock as long as you want because I own the spot. You know what I'm saying? And that right there for me was a dream come true. You dig what I'm saying? I always wanted to be an owner where I could be like, man, this just closed when we wanted to close. You know what I mean? Because there's been times where we had shows at venues where they like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. Y'all got to start winding the show down, or
right,
you know what I'm
right, right.
saying? We
We
got
know
other,
this. We know
yeah.
this heavily.
So this was my spot. So we went as long as we wanted to go. You know what I mean?
And you
and
ain't even
and it's
gotta you ain't even gotta worry about selling out the ball. You know what I'm saying? That was the big
That's
thing too.
it,
You had to
right? You
sell
don't
out the
gotta
ball
worry
too.
about you don't gotta worry about the bar guarantee. You don't gotta worry about no nothing. You know what
Word.
I'm saying? And I feel
Yeah.
like it goes hand in hand because it's the barbershop, bro. That's where everybody come to talk about music anyway, and who the hottest MCs is. So it just go hand in hand,
That was a dope show.
And
It was a dope show. Shout out to Break a Leg too, man. I'm actually gonna bring them on as well, man. I was gonna bring them on. We were gonna bring them on for the second season, man. But I think they got a dope thing going on Fridays where they give a lot of artists who are not heard opportunity to be heard. You know what I'm saying? And I think that they got a dope thing going on as well. So it's dope to see the community kind of come together like that. Especially for dope events like that, where it's just kind of like you keeping the hip hop vein alive, but you also celebrating a man who had 2 years of having his barbershop, you know what I'm saying? And all that together, all rolled into one. That's exactly what hip hop is.
all rolled in one, man. It was a beautiful thing, man. I'm thankful for everybody that was involved and how it came together and how peaceful it was because everybody came through. There wasn't no security. There wasn't nobody at the door making sure nobody had weapons. I'm pretty sure there was a couple people in there strapped. I mean, we in Georgia, like the gun laws is different, but it was all peaceful. It was all love. People was drinking. There wasn't no fucked up turn up. It was dope. You know what I mean? And that's what hip hop is about, man. You know?
1,000%.
That's a lot easier said than done, though. So salute to you, brother. Just making it seem so seamless. All the ingredients could be there, but that's not what makes a chef. You know what I mean? It's a lot harder. The fact that you own that and oversaw it and was able to look out for brother and say, yeah, we'll do it here. That also speaks to your shirt, ethics, impeccable
Yeah, man.
ethics. Like
SoundMinds,
saying
salute to
I
that.
stand for something, so people that's in my
SoundMinds.
venue is gonna act and behave a certain way. And we talk about that all the time. That's one of the things why people actually came to our venues. They knew that people, even if they was out of pocket in a different sense, when they came in our venue, they was gonna act
They have
accordingly.
respect, bro. They have
Right,
respect for the
right.
person who owned the spot, and you know what I'm saying. It was just a mutual respect. Like, nah, this my man spot. I'm not doing that here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
I think it was dope,
Yo,
man. I salute everybody who came through, everybody who watched on a replay, everybody who tuned in that night, and everybody who came through in the flesh. It was dope.
yeah, it was
It was really
fire. It was
dope.
definitely fire, man.
Let us know. Let them know where to find it.
Oh, my shop is
Because I
950.
think yeah. Let them know exactly where to find the videos because I think that's gonna take off, man. I love that idea.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Break a Leg. Is it Break a Leg Entertainment, or
Yeah,
I'm
Break a
not
Leg
sure what the
Entertainment on YouTube. Break a Leg
yeah.
ENT, I think it
Break
is.
a
Yeah,
Leg ENT on
yeah,
YouTube. Yeah, definitely where
yeah,
you can
yeah,
see
yeah.
it. And you know,
That's dope.
my shop is in Conyers, Georgia, which is 30 minutes on the outskirts of Atlanta. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
go.
955 Green Street, Conyers,
And if
GA,
anybody
Suite
is
B.
traveling around there, let's go get a haircut from Shaban, man, and his people, man, and his barbershop, man. Let's show that support for real. You know what I'm saying? So if
Yes,
you not even
definitely.
from ATL, but you driving around and happen to be in the neighborhood, go get a half moon done, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing.
Definitely, man. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah,
got some urban getting in and all that. A lot of
dope.
music. Yeah,
You
it's a
probably gonna
combo
learn something
bonus.
while you gonna get your head right. Get your head right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man, real quick, man, you got
Speaking of
about
barbershop, wait. Speaking of barbershop, though, because I did see that you do art, but you do designs, and you also do art with your barbering. So, do
hmm
you still do that? And is that like a special that people ask for? Or how is that set up?
Well, some people ask for designs, you know what I'm saying, mainly kids. And, being I'm a graffiti artist, I'm an artist, fine art, you know what I'm saying, I'm able to provide that for them. But I also do, paintings like Shango in the back right there, you know what I'm saying? Or,
Ooh,
you see the walls, how I did the walls in my studio, you know what I'm saying?
this is
You
fire!
see you see the bills right
Exclusive,
there.
exclusive, exclusive.
You know what I'm saying? I got one right there on the easel across the room. You know what I mean? I definitely got like a couple pieces right here. You know what I mean?
Wow,
I stay working on different things, you know what I'm saying? Different pieces and shit. Word.
that's
But
not
that's
stay working. That's a lot of work. That's
yeah,
work.
no question. No question, man. This my creative room right here, man. This where I be doing the garments, you know what I mean? The heat pressing, you know what I mean?
Yo,
Yeah.
you got something to
It's
do
the
with you that has to do with balance, my dude. Like, like being able to kill somebody in a battle, but just intending to show up and perform a song. Being able to, you know, go on tour, but setting up a barbershop and allowing other people to tour there. I can't really put it into words. I don't know if you could give a gem to our audience what that is I'm trying to describe. It's a certain sense of balance that is consistency throughout what you do, where it's like you don't do everything just because you can do it. You do it in the appropriate way in the appropriate time or something like that.
I mean, I just love it, man. I'm totally immersed in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything I do basically revolves around this, hip hop. I'm living it. You dig what I'm saying?
Being real to
So
what you love.
that's it, and I feel like when you put 100% passion into what you do, like other people are gonna recognize and they gonna fuck with it. I may not be the super platinum artist, but you know what I'm saying. I got my following of people that know what it is when they come and fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking of that, can I add to that and just show the family what just more of that? He does art, he does graffiti, he does paint canvases, but he also got 354,000 streams in 2020 with 164.5 thousand listeners. Okay, so I mean, for the longevity in hip hop, longevity in entrepreneurship, on owning your shop, and then the art, graffiti, switching that into the canvassing. Let's go. Like, look at what we talking about here. Pure
Well,
hip hop, right?
I was happy with the numbers. Of course, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who probably got way more numbers, but that's pretty good for an old man.
Yes,
You know what I'm
thank
saying?
you. Yes, sir. Talk to him. Talk your shit. Let's go.
You know what I mean? That's pretty good for an old man, especially considering I only dropped one project and then a one outside single this year. You know what I mean? I plan to release more, but I was trying to keep the barbershop
How?
and everything
How? The
afloat.
question is how, my brother. The question is how are you able to accomplish? That's an accomplishment, those numbers. And then the accomplishment of your art. Then the accomplishment of you being a barber and owning your shop. How? Where's the balance? Like Self-Suffice was saying.
Yo, I just do it, man. I don't know
All
where
right,
it
let
come
me
from,
let
but
me
I
put
just
it
do
like
it.
I'm gonna press you. I'm gonna press you a little bit. Like, do you focus on one main thing and then the other things revolving? Is like, okay, in between I take breaks, do a little bit of this, or do you be like constantly rotating things? Like, are you
Yeah,
like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and just barbershop this 3 months, but then put a little bit of time,
nah.
or are you constantly rotating?
I'm constantly rotating on everything. That's the same. That's the way it works for me. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the songs, I might have like 15 halfway done songs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm adding a little bit every day. The same thing with the
Got you.
paintings. I might start like 15 paintings and they all missing something, and then I add to them every day, and then boom, one day I got 15 paintings all at once, and everybody be like, "Yo, when you got time to work on that?" I work on them little by little. That's the same thing with the hip hop projects. That's why I only dropped one this year, because I've been working on that one little by little for a while, and it fell right into place. Now the other ones that I was sprinkling and adding stuff to, they weren't done in time to be released this year. So next year, I'm gonna look like Superman because I've been working on these joints for a minute. So it's gonna be like, oh, he dropped another one and another one. So I feel like that way of working works for me. The only thing that I do constantly every day is cut hair because of course that's my main stream of income. But the music is the second one. So and then the art is the third one. So I'm sprinkling all of them at the same time.
But you always find time. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, is you always find time for all of them. You have one that's a main, but then when the main is not there, not working the main, you're finding time for the other.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely, man. I feel like if you
Yo,
spend
That's
an
dope, man.
hour, you spend an hour a day on things that you want to do, it don't sound like a lot of time, but it is though, and it adds
Mm.
up.
Mm.
You dig
You
what
got to
I'm
make the
saying?
vision
Hour.
happen, man.
He said
Got
an
to make the vision
hour.
happen.
That's a
Bib,
gym.
I got
Hour.
a quick question, Bib. You got about, give or take, if I'm wrong, please correct me, about eight to nine albums. You got tons of
Hmm.
tracks.
Yeah,
What's your favorite project to date? What do you feel like is your favorite project?
my favorite project is Keepers of the Lost Ark. That was like that. I feel like that was my first album, even though it wasn't. But it took. I was creating that for a few years, and I was putting songs aside from that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I got one of the physicals right here. Um, Even down to the artwork. You know what I'm saying? It's my favorite joint. You know what I mean? Right there on the cover, if I could explain it, it's like kids of different races. You know what I'm saying? This is in the future, and basically, it was a apocalyptic type thing happened, and they found all this hip hop stuff in a bunker, in a in a in a treasure chest, and they opened it up. You know what I'm saying? It was a beat machine. You see the kid with the beat machine. You see one kid found a crown, another kid found a you know what I'm saying, a turntable. You know, this was my favorite joint, and it had like 23 joints on it. Everybody like, yo, why you put so many joints? You know what I mean? Because I couldn't really narrow it down. I liked it, all of those joints. And yeah, I put that out. I won a underground hip hop award. You know what I'm saying? So that was basically my favorite project to date. You know, I got other dope joints.
That's fine, man. Because
that was my shit. You know what I'm saying? Look,
it's dope to see that. Because even the art is kind of like, honestly speaking,
Yeah,
that's
show the
fire.
award. I was
Salute
gonna
to
say.
that. Salute.
I saw that in the 2014 wrap up video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Okay.
My boy Jake Palumbo, you know what I'm saying, who mixed and mastered the joint, he accepted it for me because I couldn't go to the Underground Hip Hop Awards, and he dropped it and it broke in two. I had to glue it back together down here.
Okay. Damn it, Jake.
Damn it, Jake.
Damn it, Jake.
Hey, you know what? And I peeped
the
cut, right? So I peeped the cut when he did the video. The video was he said, "Yeah, homie, when picked it up, he was lit he was drunk that night or whatever." He was drunk that night, and then it cut right. I said, "Oh, he must have did something wrong. He must have did something." From that cut alone, I said, "Oh, he must have did something." And you just dropped that.
That's my boy, man. He's engineer extraordinaire, man. You know what I'm saying? He mixed and mastered most of that joint. I know he mastered the whole thing, but he mixed maybe a good 80% of it. You know what I mean?
No, shout out to him, man. Shout out.
That's my favorite joint.
So with that being said, man,
let me just say,
Rob, you got that.
We got love for that. Mez was just recently on Dreamville Engineer, and Ra is actually our engineer of the crew, mixing and mastering. So
1,000%.
We don't salute them enough for you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, because
we make it light of you because you dropped the treasure, but we love you. You know, without you, the treasures wouldn't be here in the first place, right?
Hey, man, look, right there. That's how you got your light, though. You know something? We got
absolutely.
But no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
With that being said, Ryan, if we could, man, let's show the people something on Shabam's catalog, man. Show this video, man. Let them see what Bam's about.
Yeah.
Diamond in the Dirt. Anything you want to introduce for the people about this song?
This is off my latest release, Precious Stones. You know what I mean? That came out the top of this year. You know, I released it in January. Yeah, January, March. I had the release party March 1st.
Bad.
Yeah, this was the first video. No, matter of fact, the second video.
Make sure everybody go stream this.
Yeah, definitely, man. Go stream Precious Stones by Shabam Sadiq and J57.
SS and J57 is the mechanism.
The crown jewels in it, Sometimes you gotta crown yourself. I'm that diamond in the dirt, that gem in the mud. To my enemies, I hit like a nuclear scud. Success the best way to shut all the haters up. Like a lead jet on the set, I rise above. Fly on my East Coast shit with the tan constructs. It's me versus whoever fool, I wish you luck. Good luck stuck in the same place, running amok. I wake up an old head that's broke and washed up. We bossed up, our cups filled to the rim. Leaving our mark, we not trying to be like them. Sick and stressed out, so I detoured and took the best route. I don't be reaching for clout, I just reaching for that mic so I can air the truth out and quiet all that trash I be talking about. Come on.
I'm the diamond in the dirt.
Yeah.
I'm the diamond in the dirt.
Yeah.
I'm the diamond in the dirt. I'm the diamond in the dirt. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned.
I'm on some king shit. Fly slang you can't distinguish in my kingdom. Eating grouper and kingfish. Grill mahi mahi. Vegetable hibachi. As a chef, steam your face like I had a broccoli. Spanish mommies call me Big Poppy. Yes. They be pouring my drinks, rolling my L's, giving me sloppy toppy. My pen game got me on top of the food chain. No card games. I'm eating rappers like Chow Mein with chopsticks after I chop you in chunks. Base stumps. Leave your forehead with a couple of lumps. I make my competition run like Forrest Gump. Different styles, each verse for what you want. I'm a legend, I don't care if y'all agree. When I'm dead and gone, we'll go back and study me. And write a thesis on my best releases. I ride around in your V, bumping my masterpieces.
I'm the diamond in the dirt.
Yo.
It ain't been found. I'm the diamond in the dirt. It ain't been found. I'm the diamond in the dirt. It ain't been found. I'm the diamond in the dirt. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned.
J57, you crazy for this one. Knocking.
Hit them with the bull bop.
Yeah.
Mo fire. Yeah, that's fire, B. Fire. And it fits you perfectly. Cause you right, B. Dominant dirt. The king who ain't been crowned, man. And I think that you deserve that crown more than most. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to you, brother. I think it's a gem to even have you on, man, and speaking like, you know what I mean? Just kind of be able to shoot the breeze. You know what I'm saying? And just be able to talk about what the history is, what everything else that's going on, man. So you know, dope video, dope track, dope project.
Oh, hold on 1 second. You muted. Hold up. Say that again.
We need to talk about how light skin lets that recognize your power with all them poems, man. That killer shit with me at OG, you know what I mean? And focus.
Good looking, brother.
Go.
Good looking, brother. Yeah. Nah, I it's a blessing for
When
me.
I heard that,
It's a blessing for me to even, you know what I mean?
when I heard that,
I opened up the intro, finished off the outro. That project, man, that Recognize Your Power. Shout out to Focus. You know what I mean? You know, that whole project was so dope, man. The likes of Planet Asia, Raz Kaz, Tech, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a lot of heat on it. Torre, yeah. You know what I mean?
And we toured that. We toured that. Raz Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
Toured
That was
album.
overseas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that was
Definitely,
dope, man.
man. I'm trying to do it again with a new track.
Let's get it. Trust me, I'm sending that ASAP.
since you mentioned that,
alley-oop.
since you mentioned that, it's now the time in the episode to inform you. You in the constellation. You a star in our constellation now, shining bright. You shine your light. We all shine more bright. We are putting together a SoundMinds compilation, including all the previous guests. Even guests that ain't even MC. So you got to be on it. We put in people that was doctors, educators. We're going to quote them, have them sing. So whether it's 2 bars or 6 bars, we pulling you in on the compilation. Just know that. All right?
I'm with it, bro. I'm with it 100%. You already know.
Thank you, buddy.
So with that being said, man, the track you had, man, or you got. It's called This Is with Schizo.
Mm-hmm.
Fam, there's a couple of balls in here, man, that was a little crazy. Where you said, rather eat bread with brethren than steaks with fakes, get cake with snakes, find out too late. Balls I spit move titanic plates and cause earthquakes. Everybody that slumber gets shook awake. Please, brother. Damn it, man. You know what I mean?
Word.
Talk about it, man.
Behind the ball.
Me and Schizo got a project too that we've been sitting on for a minute, man. Full of joints like that. Definitely, man. Yeah. That was a hard joint, definitely. You know. But you already
Yeah.
know, man. That's the saying right there, man. I love aphorisms. You know what I mean? So like I got many books on aphorisms. I love those, you know what I'm saying? And I learned what aphorisms was because I had an aunt that she used to just talk with nothing but aphorisms. You dig what I'm saying? And those are like, I take some of my favorite ones and I flip them because they fit with what's going on right now. And I rather, you know what I'm saying, bust down a slice of pizza with my man than eat at a fancy restaurant with a whole bunch of people that I don't like. So that's really what that line was talking about. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
yeah, Skeezo is my man. So it fit good on that song for sure.
And that's the thing,
Word.
man, because for the most part, man, it's a the culture, right? The beauty of the culture is one of which one we should be preserving, but it became so much of a business, man, that it allowed a lot of snakes to maneuver in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? Whereas
Mm-hmm.
it's dope when you have those um when your circle is really a dot. You know what I'm saying? You keep it so small where it's like, yo, we can't go wrong when you keep it small, and every expectation of who's within that circle has to carry their own weight and understand that their sword is as lethal as all the others. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times when you allow too many people, when it's just kind of like, I just read this and this is on another level, right? But they said when you section, you take in the energy in which you are involved with that person. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I
even on
seen
a
that.
non-section, yeah,
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. Every sexual partner, you know what I mean, you take on all
right,
of their, you know what I'm saying, drama and just
right.
basically the spirit of who they are. So if you got a lot of sexual partners, you might be a
Mm-hmm.
crazy motherfucker.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that's what I'm saying, because I'll be real with you, man. Like, a lot of times, especially now, man, with the new language and the flow of things, man, a lot of people sitting there and be like, yo, my day one. Like, yo, fam, you just met this person last night, man. Stop that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So it's
right.
just,
Yeah.
so you come from that era, man, and your mentality. And I think what Rap Poet was talking about, man, and Rod, is that synergy that you bring is a balance of energy that it's kind of like, yo, this is my energy and I'm meeting you where you at. And at any given time, if the energy ain't right, there's nothing
And
to
right,
kind of
it's
cut you
over.
off. Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I think
Yeah.
that brings
That's
forth.
definitely so.
And you know what's crazy about it though, man? I think at the end of the day, brother, it comes through even with your clothing line. Like, you know what I mean? Like anything that I do, because of the fabric in which I am mended from. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, yo, everything needs to align. You know what I mean? Like um I'm not expecting Shabam Sadiq to ever come out with just some purple purple tutus because every other rap is doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, yo, this is
Nah.
who I am. You know what I'm saying? So, and I love that about you, brother. I salute that, because that right there, that
Purple
ethic that you
skinny
got on your
jeans.
shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the skinniest of jeans, just but
Word.
the word ethic, that's exactly what that is, that morale, that integrity, where it's just kind of like, yo, fam, whenever you deal with me, understand I'm going to give you the best of me as best as I possibly can. So all the snakeism and all that counterproductiveness that's going to be a part of you, can't take that in me. You know what I mean? I can't take in that within
Nah,
that circle.
that's definitely true, man. And you know what's the ill thing about this design, right? I took the E from Epic Records. They definitely ain't dealing with no ethics as far as artists are concerned. So I jacked the E basically from Epic Records and I made it into a whole nother
So
design.
it's like
And
you
if you don't,
flip
and if
it.
you don't, yeah,
SoundMinds.
if you don't peep it, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll go over your head.
See,
But
if
it's
you
the
didn't
Epic.
say that,
Jim, yo, if
if
you
you
ain't
didn't
say
say
that,
that,
You wouldn't have never
that's
seen it,
coming
right?
from a culture that said bad is good, dope is great. You know what I mean? Like Abio doing for last pause, like I said, he was just talking about how we've always flipped the language and they've given us table scraps and whatever. And part of our culture is making them jealous of how we season the table scraps,
Word.
right? So if you can say that, it's all coded. Nobody would know. But now that you say that, that's what it is. Like that's
it's epic, but it's really ethics. You know what I'm saying?
That's fire, B. Now that you say it, I peep it now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I love that, B. Because you know what that is, man. That's one of those back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You from Brooknorth, man. So it's just kind of like it ain't really back in the day. The dude talking the most. You know what I mean? Trying to be the bully, and then all of a sudden you go run up on their sneakers, take that, and you wear their sneakers tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what up? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. It's just that slap in the face and let it be known, like, nah, you ain't that. I'm that. You know what I'm saying? So I love that.
Too. Somebody came with the battle. The best thing you could say is rebuttal what they say. You know what I mean? It's like the power's over here, baby.
Whoa,
you can throw anything at us.
He said, "My shit might look better."
They took their shit and flipped it. You know what I mean?
Bam, I gotta ask you, brother, before we continue the conversation, who did you look up? Whose pen did you respect back in the day for you to kind of like when you heard that, and or somebody you respect, an MC that you like, nah, that's always gonna be my go-to just to kind of get the blood flowing?
I mean, it was so many, man. You know what I mean? So many. It's hard for me to focus on one. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I focus on the ones that people talk about less. You know what I'm saying? Like Intelligent Hoodlum, like Craig G, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just go there right there. You know what I mean? But so many MCs, bro. You know what I mean? Poor Righteous Teachers, man, Brand Nubians, KRS-One, man, Big Daddy Kane, countless, you know, MC Light, you know, too many.
Shout out to Craig G too, man. Craig G was on that Recognize Your Power album too, that EP rather.
Yeah, that's my bro, bro. That's like one of my mentors, man.
I want to say just from even like I said from earlier, from listening to you for the first time, and then saying like, man, you fit right in, like you are a part of that group that you just mentioned, my brother. Like I'm learning this in real talk, just like your song said, the diamond in the dirt, the king that ain't been crowned. Like you literally are in that lineup that you just listed. When you look at the artists,
everybody I listed, I got joints with.
Yeah,
that's what you reminded me. You reminded me.
Look at come on.
Like speaking of apples,
aside from like Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One, but basically, you know, I got joints with G-Rap. I got a lot of joints with Trash.
Legend, man.
I got joints with Cool G-Rap. You know what I'm saying? Craig G. Definitely.
You know how they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? When you talk about being a diamond in rough, one thing that's apparent, you notice other diamond in roughs. So it's only right that you claim that your throne. You know what I'm saying? To be able to recognize, and that's what a king and a leader is. That people always get twisted these days. A king and a leader is someone who goes on the front lines to represent for those who they don't see represented. So that when those people see that person, they go, oh, I can follow that. That person's actually standing for what they're leading us to. They're not just pushing us. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about Craig G, you talk about some legendary battle people who battle. I don't even want to call them battle MCs because again, that's like a marketing and branding thing. Just MCs that naturally battling was part of the skill set. But then also you talk about
that's the impromptu shit right there though. Craig G and Super Nat. Man, that was the official shit right there.
Yo, the night
classic
battled C-Rays at
classic,
and they went like 10 unlimited rounds. Shout out to C-Rays, well, shout out to Supernet, like all off the top of the head. But like also at the same token, you rocking with Apani, B-Fly MC, you talking about Stardust MC. You just said you looked up to MC Light is one of the MCs. Could you just mention that real quick? Because a lot of times people, again, like one thing you pointing out is in the popular culture, it's a lot of nonsense happening. But if you in touch with the culture, you always in touch. You was one of the first people to be collaborating with dope women MCs in hip hop. So
Oh
my question
man.
to you is, what is it like to you when you hear people talking about like women can't rap or there's never been MCs, and you've been out here collaborating with dope sisters since day one? Like, what comes to your mind when you hear people saying this thing that's so outlandish to you as someone actually in the culture side by
Man,
side with sisters and saluting them and knowing they nice?
that's crazy, man, because I know a lot of super dope female MCs that are my sisters, man. Like Apani, Jean Grey, you know what I'm saying? Ty Phoenix. I mean, even to now, Star, you know what I'm saying, Indigo Phoenix. I always been around dope female MCs. You know what I mean? And actually, man, like back in the days, like I was really interested in watching the females get down. Like, who remembers Antoinette? She was like a female Rakim to me, you know what I mean? And she used to go at it with MC like heavy, you know what I mean? So definitely respect to the females. That's crazy if they said you don't respect female MCs. That's crazy to me. Cause Rod Digger and you know what I'm saying, Lauren Hill, I mean shit.
Come on, Lauren, man. When they had that battle, it was damn, it was Fuji's and J. Rue. You know what I mean? And J. Rue said, I heard some MCs won a battle, but a female was one of the strongest men. Come on, everybody knew. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day,
Everybody knew.
nobody was touching Lauren, man. Lauren was Fuji's, man. You know what I mean?
Man. And I seen Rod Digger destroy many dudes in Lyricist Lounge, man. Destroy the stage, man. And she was from an all male clique, man, the Outsiders. And she was holding it down. She was like one of the strongest MCs in that clique. Word. You know what I'm saying?
So you
Even
never
with the
even
flip
considered
mode.
it how they do. You never
Nah,
considered it like you need to dress a certain way or do this or something. You always just saluted as sisters out here. This dope. And that's
that's
another
it.
hip hop ethic too. Like the concept of the cipher. Like you never know who's gonna rock that cipher because it's a rotating clock with degrees. Like the person on the left hand could just come in and kill it, and then the person from right field could come in, and now
Man,
it's their moment, right?
yes. Yes indeed, man. I know countless dope female MCs, man, like heroin. You know what I mean? Like still
Crazy.
giving
Shout
it
out to
up.
the juggernauts. Heroin, one of my
Word,
favorites.
still
Heroin, one of my favorites.
still giving it up. You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah, I always respected female MCs. That's it.
So what's your game plan now? I see you out here with the billions of streams on the platforms. You got the barbershop tours coming through. But you always dibbling down. And by the way, you're very welcome to all our listeners and students who caught this episode. He just dropped a platinum mine on your head. You might not have caught it. That's on you. But for those who caught it, when he talked about his workflow and how to end up at the end of the day looking like Houdini based on understanding your work process, you're welcome. SoundMinds Podcast. Good night.
And by the way, you know what? Now that you say that too, before we even go forward, man, we would be remiss. And I was thinking this, man, in the vein of Houdini, man.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Ecstasy.
Word.
Rest in peace to Ecstasy.
Yeah,
Man.
rest.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they was definitely a large part of my childhood listening, man. Word. Cause One Love and Big Mouth and all that
One
Freaks Come Out
love.
at Night.
One love.
Man, come on, man. They had joints, man. Word. And they was like one of the only groups that I could really play in the car with my parents. You know? Word up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's what I'm saying, man.
A lot
They didn't
like
have too
smoother.
many
Yeah,
curses.
it was real
Right.
smooth, not aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too aggressive. Listen,
Yeah.
And if any time now,
my
man.
mom's wasn't mad at that. She wasn't mad. She was like, yeah, I could rock with this. You know?
Yeah, man. And you know, this is the year where, honestly speaking, man, the way that the year is folded, we lost a lot, man. And that's why, you know, I want to thank you, brother. I want to thank you for being who you've been. You know what I'm saying? Because you've always been stand up. You know what I'm saying? Or there's never
keeping it going.
We got it. Yeah, exactly. You in the vein of what hip hop is, man. And when we look to the right and the left, it's just kind of like, damn, things are a little shaky over here on these sides. You know what I mean? When we hear the stories of, man, let's talk about it, man. The rock steady, man. You know what I mean? I just heard some craziness right now. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of like, yo, what you mean? Sexual harassment all the time. So when you put out words like this, your clothing line saying ethics, it's like, yo, I am the representation of such. You know what I mean? Respect me as it is. You know what I mean? So shout out to that. Rap Poet, go ahead, brother. You was making a point.
Nah, I'm gonna make my point, but wait, I don't think that was Rocksteady. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think that was Rocksteady, but I
it was
talking about.
Yeah.
Something came out.
It wasn't rock. You're right.
It's just basically it's certain people. It's so many people that we have looked up to in the past that things came out. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, how does that make all your? And that's another point to the leaders. Like, if you're a leader and you're faulty in a certain sense, all these people are now looked at that had a platform that you gave. Their whole platform crumbled. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other reason why I want to say I don't think that was Rocksteady, because I don't, you know what I mean? Like, people are so quick to like say
it wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't what you're talking about though. And it's it's sad.
Yeah, it was
sad.
one person. It was one person in Rocksteady that, had a discrepancy. The same thing with the Zulu Nation. I mean, it was bad, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't show the whole Zulu Nation. But you're right though.
It's like
when the leader, you know what I'm saying, happens to, be at fault, it kind of makes the whole organization look kind of messed up. You know what I mean? That's why you gotta be careful if you're gonna take that role as a leader, man. You gotta stand up to that position, man. Or the whole thing crumbles.
I actually want to talk about this real quick before we move on to the question I was gonna ask, because Light, this is something we gotta talk about in hip hop. Because think about it, what you doing in hip hop is you taking people that's disenfranchised in the first place, right? And then you're giving them an alternate means to empowerment, right? So whether it be sex, drugs, violence, money that we're being abused under, we don't have the sexual drug, we don't own all these industries, right? Sex, drugs, violence, money. But then hip hop says, well, look, peace, love, unity, and fun. Sex, drugs, violence, and money, holding those resources is just means to that end. How else can you achieve peace, love, unity? And you got fashion, you got barbershops, you got MCing, you plugging things in the light pole, right? So now, boom, you're taking people that don't have something and giving them a sense of power, right? Where does that leave us in a leadership position? Because you started out not being a leader, right? But at some point, doesn't that make you now a leader if you master finding alternate means? And then you have to conduct yourself in a way where you bring in other people to their detriment if you don't lead in a certain way.
Yeah, man,
even though you started out as like the abandoned one.
I mean, it's deep, man. It's definitely deep, man, and I think it's too much for certain people's shoulders. You know what I mean? That's all I could say. Is like we human, man. Things happen, bro. You know what I mean? Things happen.
And I think a lot of it, funny, I just seen it twice, man, and I could barely read the comments. But shout out to my brother, man, my partner in rhyme, man, just had a birthday too, Dre D. And Lucy, accountability. You know what I mean? Our first SoundMinds, our first episode of this podcast was accountability, man. And that's what it is. It's just like, especially when you fit in to certain roles, man, when you're jumping into a leadership role, kind of corny, man, but despite it, man, saying with leadership comes responsibility. You know what I mean? A lot of times when dudes don't understand, or when people don't understand that leadership title is more than just the title when it comes with that responsibility, and you don't want to take on that accountability needs to be presented like, yo, you playing yourself right now. You know what I mean? Because what we hear countless stories now coming out from the past, people we looked up to, and you like, nah, yo, there wasn't nobody in their circle. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, all the weight shouldn't only fall on them, because it was other people around them that should have been pulling people coat, and things should have came out earlier. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's people that be on the sidelines that be watching things go down and they be letting it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like when the thing with R. Kelly came out, I mean, R. Kelly could barely read. So how the fuck was he booking flights for all these girls? How was he booking these hotels? It was people helping him do the shit. You know what I'm saying? It was people that was there. So they got to be held accountable as well. You dig what I'm saying? But I don't think it should shine light on a whole organization like Rocksteady. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and see,
It's
that's
just
another
it's
question that I have, like that I throw out to everybody, because like SoundMinds, it's more of a conversation. So I'm seeing y'all in the comments, and I want y'all to post up to this as well, like join in the conversation with us. This is
well, I
something we
can't
need
see the
to
comments.
discuss. Rob will post them up on the screen, but like basically they on YouTube and Facebook. So just answer these questions with us. Like feel free to join in. But basically, this is the question. You got people as leaders that lead others astray. You got people that enable them, that participate and let it go on a little bit too long. But let's talk about something else. The people within organizations, they join an organization for a positive cause. They join an organization because you know what? This guy, this woman represents me. I'm disenfranchised, but this person speaks to me, whether it's my demographic or whatever. When that leader does something faulty, what is the role of those in these organizations? Is it to say, I disassociate from this whole organization? Is it to say, I'm still in an organization and that's just one person? This ain't a yes or no question because it's complex. Y'all understand what I'm saying? What is the
It's
role of
super
those?
complex.
You know what I'm saying? What do those people do? Because essentially they wasn't there for that. They was there putting years and relationships and networking, and probably got hundreds of thousands of people for a positive cause. What do they do at that reality check moment now moving forward rather than just give up on everything?
Yeah, that's a dope question, man. That's something that we all got to kind of like hold that mirror to yourself, man, and hold that mirror to all those around your circle. You know what I'm saying? And whenever somebody doesn't do what they need to be doing, we need to kind of, and for the most part, kind of let them know, like, yo, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't play yourself like that. You know what I mean? And if you need support and help with whatever it is, the vice is, or whatever it is that your decision making is not necessarily where it needs to be, then you need to really kind of like set yourself forward and let it be known, like, yo, leadership doesn't come with just titles. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is that I am a representation of, I am a representation of more than myself. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a dope conversation we having, B, and this is something we could definitely have offline and have a episode on it. You know what I mean? So, just I wanted to say,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
it's dope. Just to have that ethics on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dope, man. I definitely want to support, brother. So, we gonna talk, man. So I could definitely get one of them dope shirts, man. Like I said, I'm a
Look at that.
diehard Nick fan.
Look at the type of conversation just by having that shirt on just brought on.
Right. Yeah, it's that's the energy,
That was
brother.
that was like a good
Code of
30-minute
ethics, man.
conversation of code of ethics and like,
That's
yeah,
real.
in hip hop, out of hip hop, like
Right. Yeah.
All right, so cut that question then. We gonna table that. We gonna call you on a compilation. This is my question now. Before you was mainly in the vein of an MC. Now the barbering shop is a thing, but you've incorporated an MC. So what advice do you have for people in general as you grow from just being one thing, whether it's MC, dancing, doctoring, whatever? You're at a stage now where I noticed you didn't stop MCing, you still doing it. What's your advice in terms of that? Like doing a thing, but doing it in a new way. Because obviously we still looking forward to more music from you. You feel me?
I mean,
So you still
for
doing
me, it was just finding my niche, man. Finding the thing that I love to do and doing it well and not worried about what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Because I noticed that people, when somebody hit with a certain style of music or a certain style, everybody want to jump on and do that same exact thing. You know what I mean? Stick to what you do and create a niche within that people gonna love. Because I forgot what I was listening to, but it hit me hard when it was like when they said, yo, if 1,000 people spend $100 with you every time, that's 100,000. So you really don't need thousands of fans. You know what I'm saying?
That's Mr. I think
all you
Brian
need
Kelly,
is 1,000
10,000
people.
fans. Yep,
Word.
I read that paper. Yeah,
There's 1,000 people that spend $100 with you every time, boy, and you can make a living. So just find your niche and just keep it moving with that. I mean, that's my advice. You know.
Word.
That's dope. That's dope. Yo, Bam. So we at the point, man. We gotta ask you, brother. We gotta ask you. So all MCs that come on, man, all wordsmiths that come on, we ask them to spit their favorite 16. It don't have to be from now. It don't have to be. It could be anything that you felt was your favorite 16 that you ever spit and that you ever wrote. It may not even be something that people heard. You know what I mean? But what's your favorite 16, brother?
I got a 16 that I spit on my homegirl Indigo's single, Buddha Palm. You know what I mean? Where I said, heavyweight rhyme writers, the ones that be dropping steady. You know how I go when I flow deadly, break the levees. Don't test me because it's going to be unfortunate. You could huff and puff, but you're really not a fucking threat. My style immaculate, homie. One of them top chefs, low life reps. I make it hot like a mock neck. The plot set, they want to wet him on his front steps. You better take precaution. People be on that snake shit, fake shit. They want a king dead because of the hatred and jealousy they got in their head. You gotta shake them. They ain't never love you. They never had your back. They just want to smoke your weed and sip all your yak. When the pressure's on, it's a guarantee they gonna fall back. I'd rather have 2 loyal wolves than a weak pack. I'd rather have 1 loyal woman that's gonna bust back. And that's a fact. That's one of my favorite new verses right there.
SoundMinds. Fire. 2 loyal wolves rather than a weak pack.
That's my favorite line in there.
Love it.
2 loyal wolves than a whole weak pack. You know what I'm saying?
Word up, big. Yeah, it's funny, man. You grow when you evolve as best as you could. Some people just stay stuck in their own quicksand. But that now more than ever, as I get older by the seconds, means so much now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather be in the trenches with the realest of them rather than sitting there and eating lobster and all types of shrimp with the fakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, you know, I learned too, man, that when you of a certain standard, man, a certain fabric, you make the weak very uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You make the frail and the fraudulent and the snakes very uncomfortable. So now conversations are different because now they know they gotta watch themselves around you, or they continue their circus clowning, and it's just kind of like, yo, watch the stiff arm real quick. You know what I mean? Because we getting too old, man. And by the seconds, I'm not even talking years. We getting too old. You know what I'm saying? Like we keep on hitting, you know, ecstasy and everybody that, yeah.
I'd have been in situations where, you know what I'm saying, I had a whole bunch of people with me, and then when things went down, all of them scatter, and I'm for dolo. And then I'd have been in situations where I got one of my heavy hitters with me, and we just back to back fight everything that's, you know what I'm saying, presented to us, and they hold me down. So I'd rather have, you know what I'm saying, those 2 loyal wolves, man, than a whole bunch of fake motherfuckers. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Bars.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat, man. One of my hashtags and everything I put, man, no suckerism involved. You know what I mean? No suckerism allowed. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't allow the suckerism around, because as we speaking about ethics, to kind of go back to that conversation, as I allow you to be around me in my circle when you on that fraudulent, then that makes me look fraud. You know what I mean? So, and this is kind of like, nah, I can't do that. I work too hard to keep my name right. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's dope, man. Dope 16 too. That was a dope verse,
Thanks
man.
for having
Salute.
me, man. Thanks for having me.
Come on, brother. It was a pleasure. It's all pleasure, man. And I think for the most part, I think season finale, the timing of it, you know what I mean? Like the family gatherings and all that, man. Ending of the year. Come on, we couldn't ask for a better guest, man. So thank you, brother.
Did, man. 2020.
Any
tried to get us,
man.
Yeah.
Tried to get us.
Yo, it's gonna feel good to wrap this year up.
Yes, yes.
Wrap
Yeah.
this motherfucker
It
up.
was not easy.
Yeah. You know what? I told everybody, man, I'm trying to start this thing, man, where I'm telling everybody get a candle and light that for 2021. You know what I mean? Last day of the year, as we
Let's
drop the ball
go.
or
Let's
whatever,
go.
however that's gonna look, light a candle for all those we lost, man, and for proper energy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you sipping or whatever you doing or whatever, however you doing, just light that candle regardless, man. Just because honestly, I think with the evil that we're dealing with within 2020 and this being planned as it was, truth of the matter is, for us to kind of get that energy different, it's going to take all of us to revert that energy collectively. You know what I mean? So we got to light them candles, man.
Well, shameless plug, shameless plug. I'm gonna be having those candles lit right back here. I'm gonna have this whole room lit up. I'm putting on a virtual concert on SoundMinds, on Facebook. We're gonna do it on the SoundMinds channel on Facebook. A virtual concert, New Year's Eve, aka my mother's birthday. Okay.
Nice.
Rest in
That's crazy.
rest
My
in
my
peace.
mom's my
Rest
mom's birthday on Christmas Eve.
Christmas
Oh wow.
Eve. So 2
Yeah.
Eves right there. I'm putting on for the Eves right now. Like, rest in peace to my moms who recently just passed. So I'm putting it
Rest
on
in
for
peace.
her. And
Word.
I'm
God
telling
bless
you,
her.
she loved me for my music, and I'm going in like, it's gonna be like a versus battle with just me. You know what I'm saying? Like just me. I'm going through I'm talking
He
about
said a versus battle with
versus
just
me.
me.
I'm
Me
telling
versus
you.
myself.
Me versus myself. You're gonna
That's
meet
the
the,
real
the
versus
young
too.
me to the PUP to now graduating to King Rashaman to moving into this new year as I move into this new name, you know what I mean? This new branding, it's all into that. This whole graduation of it, and you about to get a whole, catalog of, my catalog of my upbringing through my music, and you're gonna hear my story through my music. You're gonna hear it from the beginning
I know
to
your
the end.
mom is proud of you, brother. Like
And
everything you doing right now, like I know she's looking down as I believe my father is as well, as I believe light skinned mom is as well, looking at us like, damn, like I I'm proud of them.
yes,
Like they are finding a way to do something positive that we will listen to. Because the only thing we didn't talk about in all 3 seasons is that first moment when you first ciphering with your boys and your mom has a chance to hear you or something like that. She come in the room or something, and everybody like talk about the wolves. Everybody be like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop rapping." And that moment where you say, "Is my bars?" It's one thing to battle another dude. It's one thing to say, "Is my bars worthy of my actual mother hearing?" I
yes,
don't feel ashamed,
Mm.
and that's
yes,
what you're doing right now, G.
yes.
Like for real.
And
You know what I'm saying?
I know my mama is proud of me, and I'm definitely gonna put on for my mama. You know what I mean? And I hope all of y'all there. I mean, I already know y'all gonna be there, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely tag
it's
me.
definitely,
going,
man.
going down. Definitely gonna tag me.
Definitely. Yeah, man. It's going to be a dope event, man. And I think it brings forth a better year than what we had. You know what I mean? A lot of losses that we've had, we're going to bring forth by the spirits that we bring, you know what I mean, through the next year. So, and I know that your mom's is watching you, brother. So trust and rest assured, whatever we could do to make it happen, let's make it happen. You know what I mean? So, Bam, anything that you got coming up, man? Anything that you want to plug in a little bit?
You know, I just got a bunch of projects dropping for the new year. I'm on this thing with one producer projects. So I got three ready for the new year. Matter of fact, I got one with Nick Wiz, my longtime cohort. We've been dropping joints since Sound Bombing, you know what I mean, like Arabian Nights and all that. We was gonna drop this year. We actually dropped one of the singles. The video was called Thundering, and we did it in a cartoon. It's like a South Park cartoon, so go check that out. But that EP drops at the top of the year. You know what I mean? So check the video out right now, Thundering by Shabam Sadiq and Nick Wiz. And then in the top of the year, we dropping the EP. It might be an album by then. It's called Cabin Fever. You dig what I'm saying? And then
Shout out to y'all for catching the new wave on doing the animated videos in 2020, because that's the wave that we had to go, and y'all got the
that's
animated
the
video
route.
popping.
Yeah.
You see it? I see you. You 10 steps ahead on them.
The word, that's the route we had to go, man, because you know what I'm saying, everybody couldn't get up and shoot. So, you know what I mean? We jacked South Park, and I think it pretty look good, man. South Park should give me an episode. You know what I mean?
Yo, let's work on that. Let whatever needed, hashtagging right into whatever it is. Let's get Shabam Sadiq a South Park episode. Man, stop playing.
Tag the Thunder. This is what they got to do. Tag the Thunder video to South Park. Everybody, I don't care if it's a producer in it. I don't care if it's the South Park Twitter page. It's going to be the South Park actors and voiceovers in it. Tag them right now.
The link is in my bio on IG.
There you
check
go.
that joint out and tag it and repost it. You know what I mean? Hopefully I get a South Park episode. Word.
Fire. Yeah, we gonna make that happen one way or another, man. They try to keep the circles away from the squares, so for the most part, we're gonna force it through. You know what I mean? But
yo, thank you, brother.
Yeah, much love, man.
Thank you for your ethics. Thank you for your impeccable process, and thank you for the gems that you led all of us on. In the legacy of intelligent hoodlum tragedy Gaddafi, and the legacy of men that respect women as their peers, and the legacy of those who humbly show up to do a show, but will smack earth, wind, and fire out you if you least expect it, and don't realize that they just try to mind their business and do their show, not because they have to, because they've been generous. And the legacy of those, we welcome you to the constellation. When you shine your light, we all shine more bright. Thank you for being with us with the SoundMinds, Shabam Sadiq.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Salute,
man, you couldn't get a better guest, man, for the season finale of this third. You know what I mean? And fourth season will be coming out soon. We'll be posting a date. That'll be in January, probably second or third week of January.
Listen, stay. This is and let them know how they really got to get the information, man. You got to go to the SoundMinds _podcast IG. You have to follow right now. That's where you're gonna be getting the.
Wait, let's make this a challenge then. How many followers we need before we drop our new season?
So that's.
Let's see if we got the campaign.
Hey, that's the campaign. We gotta hit certain goals, family, and I really want the family out there to know that we really want to reach goals and take SoundMinds podcast to levels, our next levels, what we consider our next levels is. So stay with us and get that information by following the SoundMinds _podcast on our IG. And we're gonna be dropping the info.
We got 260 now. I want each of y'all to share this with 10 people. Tell them, if you want a next season, we need to have 500 in January. We need 500 in January, even though it's a new 500 ain't nothing.
I don't know. 500. We about to get 500 next week.
There you go.
Hold up. We about to get 500 next week. We need to double, triple that real quick. We're going like at least 2,000 to 3,000, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 or something.
And if we get 5,000, that's when we're gonna start working on the compilation.
So
you really
season 4.
Yeah, everybody just stay tuned. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be getting that information soon. Bam. Shout out to you, brother. Salute. Shabam Sadiq, man.
Y'all, man. I had fun kicking it with y'all.
Thank you, brother. We did too, man. And thank you for not shying away from nothing, man. You stood on key, you stood on beat, you know what I mean, and killed it. So straight up, man. Thank you, man. We salute you. Yes, sir.
About the compilation. I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready.
Look at that.
I'm ready.
Yes,
he's looking at all of you. We need 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube. We need 1,000 subscribers on our IG. These artists is ready to shine their light on you. Let's let them know you ready.
There you go. Let's make it happen.
Yo, but as a brother, man, love. Thank you for being here.
All love.
SoundMinds,
y'all. And look out, season 4. Happy New Year's to all of y'all. Have a great one, man. Let's light them candles, man. And once again,
Thank
This
you
is
for
where you're gonna
all
get that
of your
content and
support.
Happy
context.
New Year.
Yes.
Thank you
Happy
for
New
all
Year.
of your support, man. Thank you for all of your support through all 3 seasons. I'm telling you, we coming back 2021 with a 10 times bigger and better season. We got so many gems and so many more concepts to drop. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Peace to y'all, man. 2020 out of
All
here.
right, peace.
2021. Let's grab it by the thread.